For the next 3 months, life inside Taehyung's mansion became a quiet rhythm that neither of you had planned, but both unconsciously fell into. Every morning started with the faint clatter of utensils in the kitchen, sometimes from the cooks, but more often from the two of you when you insisted on helping him make breakfast. Though half the time your vision of helping meant sneaking bites of ingredients or standing behind him just to watch him cook. Days would drift into afternoons spent side by side on the couch, watching movies where his attention was less on the plot and more on memorizing the small shifts of your expression. The closeness felt intentional, yet it threaded into your daily lives so naturally that you barely noticed how much you had come to rely on his presence. He was careful with his affection, never pushing too far, never making you feel concerned, but it was there in the smallest gestures. When you went for outings, he would always walk a step behind you in crowded streets, his hands subtly guiding you away from strangers. At picnics, he would set the blankets and food himself, brushing off any attempt you made to help, as if his only role was to ensure you had nothing to do but enjoy yourself. On quiet days at home, you would sometimes catch him looking at you for a second too long before glancing away, his expression unreadable. These moments stacked like fragile glass, one at top, another until the weight of his feelings became something even he couldn't ignore, though he did well. But Taehyung's heart wasn't steady, it was restless. The 11-year age gap was a shadow that followed him everywhere, whispering doubts into moments that should have been simple. He told himself, "You were too young to be tangled in something like this, that your time in Brazil was temporary, that eventually you would leave and return to the life where he would only exist as a distant memory." The fear made him more deliberate, more calculated. He didn't want to confess and scare you away. So he played his part as a teasing, protective presence, letting you see the best of him but never enough to make you feel trapped. What you didn't know was that Taehyung had quietly taken steps to keep you close. The agent at the passport office had received a generous bribe months ago, an untraceable favor that would ensure your stay was extended without you suspecting why. He told himself it was harmless, that it was just a way to have more time together, to give you the chance to see the side of him no one else had. But underneath, there was a selfishness he didn't dare admit. He couldn't bear the thought of letting you go without at least trying to make you love him. Still, despite his efforts, you never got any clear sign of falling for him. Yes, you blushed when he teased you. Yes, you smiled more when he was around. But it was always fleeting, always something you brushed off as nothing. Each time he noticed it, a flicker of hope would bloom in his chest, only to dim again when you pulled away or acted tough as though it meant nothing. It scared him how close he was to losing something he never even had. And so the days went on filled with laughter, shared meals, and quiet moments that meant everything to him, even if they were just another page in your temporary stay. It was the 30th December, a date that held no special meaning for you until that morning. You were walking past by the front gate when you overheard two of the guards talking in low voices. "Today's his birthday, right?" one of them said. "Yeah, but don't you dare mention it to him." The other replied quickly, "Boss hates celebrating it." Your steps slowed. His birthday? You had spent 3 months with Theo, now yet. Yet he had never once mentioned it. The curiosity tugged at you, and after the guards noticed your questioning expression, they hesitated before telling you the truth. Yes, it was indeed his 25th birthday, but he never celebrated it. No parties, no greetings, not even a cake. The reason was unknown to them, but they warned you in earnest. "Miss, don't Try anything, one of them said nervously. If you do, he will get angry, really angry.
But their warnings only made your heart race with determination. You nodded, pretending to understand, but inside your mind was already working on a plan. Later, you confirmed with one of the older maids. Yes, it was true. Taehyung disliked birthdays, but you simply couldn't accept that. After everything he had done for you, after the way he had made these 3 months unforgettable, you couldn't let the day pass like any other.